Mr. Ambassador, we're talking about Syria and the Russian proposal. Why now Russia proposed now to gather the chemical weapons in Syria and to destroy it? Does it really want a political settlement, or why this proposal now?
I think, you know, what Russia wants is not to give a free hand to the West in Syria and in the Middle East in general. Russia now is re-emerging as a superpower. It's reassuming its role, and I think what is happening in Syria is going to be a step towards the beginning of a second Cold War. The Americans do not want to recognize that there is another power in the world except them. The Russians are trying to reaffirm themselves as a global power. The Chinese also have interests in the Middle East. Therefore, I think this is the main reason why the Russians have intervened. If you will permit me, I would like to draw to your attention something very serious that is happening today. We are looking at what is happening in Syria out of context of what is happening in the Middle East and the Arab world in general. What is happening, there is a redrawing of the borders and on the balances of power in the Middle East. What the American program of the new Middle East is being started. If we look into what is happening in Syria in context of what is happening, without even the Arabs commenting on that, a month or a little bit over a month ago, there was an agreement between the PPK, the Kurdish Labour Party, and the Turkish government. And according to this, all the armed fighters of the PPK will leave Turkey and go with their arms into Iraq without taking the permission of Iraq, without consulting Iraq, without consulting the Arab world. This will create, also will affect the balance of powers, very delicate balance of power in Iraq. The Israelis have expelled the Bedouins of Al-Naqab desert from there to resettle. There was a program that has been propagated by the Americans of exchanging territory between Gaza and between the Negev desert. There are very serious things happening in the Middle East that we have to be aware of. It is not a matter of Syria alone. It is a matter of the future.
Reshaping the whole region. Okay, Russia called on the Assad regime not only to gather the chemical weapons but to destroy them and to join the treaty which prohibits the using of chemical weapons. How far this has an impact on the Middle East and the countries in the region?
It has a tremendous effect on the Middle East. First of all, you have one party in the Middle East who has nuclear weapons, has other weapons of mass destruction.
Israel.
Yeah. And then the chemical weapons in the Arab world were primarily to counterbalance the nuclear threat of the Israelis. What is even more drastic is that what is happening now is that you are giving an impression in the international arena that the Arabs are not responsible to have weapons. You had Iraq, they destroyed the weapons of mass destruction, and now Syria, and nobody is looking to Israel's arsenal because they are portrayed as the responsible and sane power in the Middle East.
And this will have definitely negative impact on the other countries who like to have chemical weapons as a kind of defense, or use it in industry or other things, for example, like Egypt?
This is indeed, the case, because with the weapons of mass destruction, whether it is nuclear weapons or whether it is chemical weapons or biological, there is the double use. You can have a factory that produces pesticides and you can use it as a chemical weapon. You can have a factory that produces fertilizers and it can be used as a chemical weapon. You have the Arabs, especially Egypt, for instance, is very much in need of nuclear power. And then you will have the argument of enriching uranium and so on. So this will be a hurdle against the development of the Arab countries.
And do you believe that the Congress will give Obama the approval to attack Syria?
I don't. The problem is not will the Congress give an okay to Syria is already destroyed. I mean, this is not the problem. The problem is that we wanted to save Syria from destruction. And Syria is already destroyed, whether the United States attacks it or not. The infrastructure, the social fabric has been destroyed. The Arabs, we have been watching the destruction of Syria for about 3 years now and doing nothing. And now we are blaming the United States that they're going to destroy Syria. No, Syria has been destroyed by the Arabs and by the Syrians and by the arms and by the money that has been going into Syria from Arab countries and from regional countries. That was the main reason for the destruction of Syria. The most important thing is that the social fabric has been destroyed. Now Syria is Shiites, Alawites, Sunnis, Kurds, Turkmens, and everybody.
It's divided anyhow.
Everybody hates the other, and everybody is armed to the teeth against everybody else.
Okay. What's the significance of putting the chemical weapons under the international control?
It's first it is intransigent on the sovereignty of the country. Once you send an outside power to seize an asset of the state and to say that you are a danger to the international community, this infringes on the sovereignty and the dignity of the nation. And then it will be, as I told you, used as it has been used in Iraq. Iraq accepted the monitors and they led to its destruction.
Well, Mr. Ambassador, thank you for joining us, Ambassador Mohamed Shazly, and welcome to our show once again.
Thank you very much.
Well, we'll go to this break and come back, so please stay tuned.
في سنة 53 كنا نريد فعلا مخلصين ان احنا نتعاون مع الاخوان المسلمين على ان يسيروا في الطريق الصحيح والطريق السليم. وقابلت المرشد العام للاخوان المسلمين وقعد وطلب مطالب. طلب ايه؟